As we near the end of Vlogmas and we come to the holidays, the actual day of the holidays, and I'm thinking specifically Christmas and New Year's because we have parties, right? As we come to these holidays, you're not gonna have as much time to watch YouTube videos, so I'm gonna do a couple of shorter ones to kind of finish out Vlogmas. Today, we are upping our dip game. So we're just gonna dress them up. The same old dip that you love. We're gonna make a spicy garlic dip and a French onion dip, but we're gonna make them a little bit fancy, just so it's not like you mixed sour cream and mayonnaise and a dip mixed together, okay? We're gonna dress it up just a little bit. So let me show you what I'm working with, and then we'll get started and we'll finish this out real quick because dips are quick. You should spend more time eating them than making them. So let's get into it. Any dip lover knows that a very good dip, a normal dip, a classy dip, a dip starts with sour cream and mayonnaise, okay? So these are your two best friends if you're gonna make a dip. If you've never made a dip before, go get some sour cream and some mayonnaise. You can put just about anything in it and it will be so good. So I've got sour cream, I've got mayonnaise, and then I've got my dip mixes. I was at the Alaska State Fair this year, and I'm sure you can find these at just about any state fair / farmer's market / wherever. They will have a beautiful booth probably filled with lots and lots of dip stations, like tasting stations. I have a caramelized French onion dip mix, and I have a spicy garlic dip mix. I'm really, really excited for this one. Now, if you don't have a caramelized French onion dip mix like this, go to the grocery store and look for the Lipton onion soup mix, okay? All you need is a package or two of this. You mix it into there and you let it sit for a couple of hours. Magic. But I'm gonna be using this today instead. Now, I said we're gonna dress it up. I like to dress up all of my dips with cream cheese, okay? So each dip is gonna get a brick of softened cream cheese. I think that it makes every dip better. I cannot think of a single dip that I've had that is not better with cream cheese in it, okay? It's just, I mean, I love cream cheese anyway, but add some cream cheese to your dip and you've just upped your dip game. Now, I am not finished upping the stakes here, okay? We have our dip mixes. We have our cream cheese. I also have some homemade yummy ingredients to put in here. This is a bowl of caramelized onions. I diced them up really fine, put them in a saucepan with some butter and just let them cook slowly until they were soft and brown and sweet. Yum. So I'm gonna add this to our caramelized French onion dip mix. I've done it before. It's so tasty. Now this one is a spicy garlic dip mix. If you are like me, you cannot get enough garlic. So I took a sheet of aluminum foil and a little bit of butter and several cloves of garlic, and I roasted it in the oven until it was soft, and then I just mashed it all up. So this is the garlic and some butter in here. It's not gonna hurt anything, a little bit of butter. And then I've got some grated raw garlic, okay? Now, it's not very much, and it was a bigger clove, meaning that the garlic flavor is a little bit more mild. So if you don't like sharp garlic, skip this part, or use a great big clove of garlic, which sounds counterintuitive, but the great big cloves of garlic, I'm not talking elephant garlic, but like you get a normal bulb of garlic and the bigger cloves have a milder flavor. So there's your garlic tip of the day. So I think we're gonna start with our spicy garlic dip mix because I'm so excited for this one. So let's get mixing. I'm gonna start by taking out my cream cheese. This has been softening for a while. It's really squishy. That's the way you want it. You don't want it to be too cold. If it's too cold, it won't mix into your dip and you'll get lumps of cream cheese. I've found that I don't mind that, but I'm a cream cheese lover. So if you don't like cream cheese, you could skip this entirely, or you could just make sure that it is thoroughly softened so that it will thoroughly combine. And what this does for your dip is it makes your dip a little bit creamier, a little bit more rich, a little bit thicker. And although it was already softened, I'm going to just kind of mix it up with my spatula just to sort of make it more like a spreadable, almost like a thick frosting sort of consistency, just because I don't want it to still be in that brick of cream cheese shape. And working it around with your spatula kind of makes it a little easier to combine with your other ingredients. Okay, I'm happy with the texture of my cream cheese now. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a cup of sour cream and thoroughly combine that to the cream cheese before I add my mayonnaise. Next goes a cup of mayonnaise. If you're really worried about the lumps in the dip, you could always make it easier on yourself and make it in like a stand mixer. You could use a whisk if you wanted to. So what we have here is my dip base. This is cream cheese, sour cream, and mayonnaise, and it's all equal-ish parts. I did 1 brick of cream cheese, about a cup of sour cream, and about a cup of mayonnaise. You could add just about anything to this and it would taste amazing. You could add bacon bits and some barbecue seasoning and have like a barbecue sort of dip. You could add dill and beaumonde and have like a dill dip. If you do that, I would suggest using both dry and a little bit of fresh dill. I'm not a huge fan of the flavor of fresh dill in a dip on its own. I think if you mix it with the dried dill that you get in the herb section at the grocery store, if you put that in a dill dip, it's so good. It's so good, but if you add a little bit of fresh dill to that, it just kind of ups the flavor. But to add that extra oomph to your dill dip, you have to have beaumonde or celery salt, just because that makes it a little bit extra special. But I'm not making that today. I'm making a spicy garlic dip. So I'm gonna add my raw garlic, and I'm gonna go ahead and combine that. Stir, stir, stir. Next goes my roasted garlic, because it's another layer of garlic flavor. And it's sort of like a paste now because it came out of the oven and I mixed it, kind of mashed it with a fork with that butter that was in there. So it's like a garlic, roasted garlic butter paste, and it smells fantastic. I'm gonna get that out of there. And this is a dip, so you cannot over mix, okay? You want it to be completely, thoroughly, 100% mixed in. You don't want clumps of your dip mix, and you don't want clumps of your roasted garlic or your raw garlic. You want every bite to taste the same. So next goes my little packet of spicy garlic dip mix. And this says it contains garlic, parsley, onion, cayenne pepper, and spices. So I'm sure that with garlic powder and garlic salt, cayenne pepper, I'm sure you could make something similar to this on your own if you don't have access to any kind of dip mix. But I'm gonna use this one because I have it. So there's our first dip. I'm gonna go get some crackers because I can hardly wait to taste this. And I do wanna taste it now before I put it in the fridge. Usually you wanna let your dips sit for several hours in the refrigerator to let the flavors develop. But I'm mostly checking for salt content right now. That roasted garlic didn't have any salt on it. So if it needs a little bit of salt, I can add it now because I don't want to do it later. So I'm gonna it's a slow heat. Having made this and having never made this spicy garlic dip mix before, I know what else I would do if I made it again. I would dice up very small some jalapenos and I would cook them with my onions. My caramelized onions over here. I cook them with that and I would add that to this dip. I'm not adding any caramelized onions to this dip because I need it for the other one. I think that would be really good in here. It is garlicky, it's not too sharp. That heat is hitting me now. It's a slow heat. It's not like right when you first take the bite. It's a little bit later. And I think once it develops, it's gonna be even better. But I really like this one. It's so different. It won't be for everybody. I don't even know if my sister will like this, but I know my mom and I are gonna have a good time eating this dip later. So that's our dip number 1. Let's make another one. Boom, we have another dip base. I'm less worried about lumps on this one because we're gonna have lumps in it anyway because we're putting onions in it, so it's gonna be sort of lumpy. I'm gonna add my packet of my dip mix and stir, stir, stir. And I'm gonna taste this one now before I add my onions to it, because I'm curious how this dip mix is, or if you should just use the Lipton one. This one's almost sort of sweet, and caramelized onions are, but this dip mix is almost sort of sweet. I think this is gonna be really yummy with the onions in it. I like it a lot. Emma likes it too. I think it needs a little bit of black pepper and maybe some salt, but I'm gonna try black pepper first. I don't add black pepper to everything, but I think it'll be fantastic in this. That is very, very, very good. So that's how you dress up your dips. If you have like a signature dip, let me know what it is, because I love dips. I can't get enough of them. And I feel like we are in the midst of dip season. All of these holiday parties. I want to have a dip party where everybody brings their dip and the recipe for their dip. And we all just snack on crackers and carrot sticks and chunks of bread and cheese. Like, is that too much to ask? Wouldn't that be a fun party? Maybe my dream will come true one day, I don't know. But anyway, that's gonna be it for today, and you guys will see me in the next Vlogmas video. Good night, everybody.